My name is Ross McCrory. I'll be your MC this evening, but I am by far the least important part of this show. But before we begin with the poetry, I'd like you to join me in an ancient poetic tradition. This tradition begins with taking one of these little soul-sucking devices out of your purse and or pockets, applying a modicum amount of pressure to the power button until that little soul sucker dies. All right. Your illuminated screens, flashes, texts, and ringtones distract greatly from the poets, and a word of advice from anyone who's ever been on stage, being up here is daunting, terrifying, and any distractions can be catastrophic to a poem. So please keep the texting, ringing, and flash photography to an absolute minimum. Before we begin here, I want to quickly go over the rules to our poetry slam. Each poet will be given a range of time between 60 seconds and 3 minutes. So they have a wide range, but every single deviation from that 2-minute range will be a half-point deduction. So 3 minutes, and they do have a 5-second grace period, but anything after that, if they hit 3:06, it's a half a point, poets. So I hope we're timed out. Also, if you're under 55 seconds, you're going to be docked. Let's begin by meeting our judges. Can we get a little bit of house lights? Just a little bit from the booth? All right, booth, we'll work on that. Our first judge and our soon-to-be sacrificial poet is Todd Marshall, a poet and professor at Gonzaga University. Todd is serving as Washington State Poet Laureate from 2016 to 2018. He will also be our opening poet this evening. Todd Marshall, everybody. Next, Laura Reed. Laura teaches writing and literature at Spokane Falls Community College and serves as Poet Laureate of Spokane. Laura. Next, Tom Caraway. Tom currently teaches creative writing and editing at Whitworth University and in 2013 was appointed the first Poet Laureate of Spokane. We have an impressive group of judges here tonight. Elizabeth Moore, while attending EWU for her MFA, Elizabeth organized the Get Lit Poetry Slams, which are amazing. She also is a friend of Deer Park Public Library. It's very hard to clap with a clipboard in my hand. I'm going to struggle with that all night. Finally, Corinne Wilson was a judge at the first annual Northern Slam, and she is a literary enthusiast. Corinne is the Airway Heights Community Librarian. Welcome, Corinne. So judges, here's what you'll be doing tonight. Every time a poet performs, I will give you a very, very fractional moment in time to judge that poet. What you'll be judging on is the poem's language and theme. We're looking for originality tonight. We're looking for unity. We're looking for things that tie together. Also, poetic devices. If you find creative similes, metaphors, look for that. Varied vocabulary, big words. Syntax, flow, and rhythm. That's what we're looking for in the poem. Then we're also looking for delivery. We're not sitting here reading books. We can get big words there, but we're looking for a performance tonight. So the other half of your score will be for volume, intonation, pace, facial expression, and the poet's emotional theme. So make sure their emotion matches the theme. If we're giggling while talking about death, that generally doesn't go together. Maybe. I haven't read your poems. Maybe. There's some happy death poems. I don't know. Yeah, there? Okay. So look for that. Each poem will be scored, as I said, in 2 categories. That's language, theme, and delivery. 5 points each, so you can kind of divide that up in your head. Like I said, I am not going to give you much time to score, and I will give you a very hard time if your scores don't come in, okay? I will give you a very hard time all night. All right, judges? Okay. Before we really get going with the poets, what I'd like to do is to make everybody comfortable here and get all of our poets ready to perform. We're all going to do a little bit of vocal warm-up. Can we do that together? Yes? Okay. So, The first thing we'll do is just a little bit of tongue twisting, a little bit of getting ready. So this is just repeat after me. Repeat after me, red leather, yellow leather. Ooh, that was terrible. And that's the easiest one. Okay, poets, I want to hear you guys the loudest. Remember, we talk from down here. We know that, right? Let's try that one again. Red leather, yellow leather. Much better. We're already getting warmed up. All right. How now, brown cow? I should see the backs of your throats when we do this one. I want to hear it. How now, brown cow? Unique New York. Ooh, okay. Let's get harder. Aluminum linoleum. Terrible. Okay, I know, but I can live with myself, can you? All right, let's try this one. We got to hit some plosives, some B's. Ready? Blue bugs, black blood. Blue bugs, black blood. Good. One more time. I want to hear the B's hit hard. Blue bugs, black blood. Blue bugs, black blood. Much better. All right, and finally, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The articulatory tools. We'll do that one more time, then we'll do it together. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. He's not doing it at all. Everybody. Yeah, Plaid, come on, let's go. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. No, that's not good enough. Red, all by yourself. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Thank you. All right. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the articulatory tools. Much, much better. Now we're all ready to talk. Hopefully that means our poets are too. All right, let's get started. You've heard more than enough from me, which I'm sorry, I will be back. But for now, here's what we're going to get started with. Yeah, I have too much paper in my hands. We are going to have somebody come up and read a poet. We are going to have Todd Marshall come up and sacrifice himself to the judges. The way this works is in poetry, nobody ever wants to go first. I don't know whether they believe it's cursed or what, but Todd Marshall is going to give our opening poem. He's going to be judged very, very harshly. We are going to boo the judges for their harsh criticism of your poem, and then we will start with our competitive poem. So let's give a warm welcome to Todd Marshall.
Hello? Good. The second coming. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation must be at hand. Surely the second coming must be at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all around it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. By William Butler Yeats.
Okay, so how we're going to do this is the table back there is going to be frantically tabulating the score, and if you try and figure it out in your head, it's going to be really, really hard because we're going to drop the top and the bottom score. So that 5.1 that Corinne gave us, totally useless, Corinne. Way too high. So get it together, look at your rubric, and be better next time, okay? Because your score just didn't count at all. It's gone. All right, the lowest score will also be dropped. So the lowest score is gone, and we average the middle 3 scores. It keeps it fair, keeps favoritism out of it. All right, finally, I want to give one final instruction before we get our poets up here, and that is when a poet comes up, sometimes they need a little bit of help. And instead of applauding for them, because that's far too loud, we need to do this. Everybody practice. So if they need a little bit of help, if they maybe stumble, if they maybe choke up, we got to give them a little bit of help. Good, good, just like that. The second thing we need to do is if a poet is just on fire, they're just spitting flames up here, we got to respect that with some snaps. Everybody, everybody. Red shirt on the phone, snaps. Thank you, thank you. I'm after you tonight. All right, so that's how we get our poets going tonight. All right, finally, I would like to thank a few people. Need my papers. I mess up, so you won't, poets. All right, we want to thank Deer Park High School for hosting this event, Todd Marshall for letting me make fun of him, and for his wonderful poet reading, the Get Lit Teen Slam, and most of all, the Deer Park Library and the Friends of Deer Park Library, including Bill Moore, their president. Thank you so much for putting this on. All right, our first poet. Please give her a warm welcome. It's Samantha Jack.
Secrets and lies. Secrets make lies, and lies make secrets. A phrase I can't even begin to explain. It would take me months, maybe even years. Your secrets were lies, and they tore us apart. You hid them like parents hide candy from their children, and you hid them well. We were so open with each other, or so I thought. But she changed that. She brought out a side I didn't, a side I didn't even know about, a side I wish I could have never seen. Your lies hurt. They were your secrets, and they broke me. They hit a place that no fist ever could. You're not the guy I knew or loved. And maybe she even knew that. Realizing that is hard. You made me blind, made me think that you were trustworthy, but you lied. You kept secrets. You called me crying, saying that you're sorry, hours of fighting, hours of making me fall for you again, but for what? You lied again. You told me she was a friend. You told me not to worry, and I believed you. But here I am again, in the same position, wondering what I did to deserve this. I hated you. I hated that you did this to me. I didn't know what to do. Do I listen to my head or do I listen to my heart? Your secrets, possibly worse than lies, I couldn't tell. A month went by. You still hadn't shown me your messages. You said that they weren't important. All the missed calls, you said it was your mother, that she was controlling you again. And you told me not to worry. I laid in bed wondering what was wrong with me. It was never me. It was you. It was simply and honestly you. Your lies, your secrets, the cheating, as if I was a board game and you're just trying to make your way around, as if the numbers on the dice didn't matter, as if the pawn in the game was just a figure. All the good mornings and all the good nights, all the I love yous, sent to me and sent to her. You ignored my messages when you were with her. You hid your emotions because they were all guilt. Christmas, Valentine's, even birthdays, the gifts were necessary, so I didn't know. That one little mistake, the way you handled it. You lied to me, and you lied to her. She didn't even know me. She thought I was a friend, just the same as I thought of her. You broke me, and you broke her. You ruined a 2-year relationship for a 2-month relationship. I was the one to tell her. A complete stranger. I saw her break. She lost the sparkle in her eye. Her smile wasn't as bright. She asked me if it was true. My reply, probably one of the hardest things I had to say is, I wish it wasn't. It hurt more saying it than thinking it, though. She was beautiful, too good for him. We both were too good for him. We deserved better. I didn't know what was better, though. I was your princess, and she was your queen. The names I called you weren't enough. Dumb, stupid, idiot, jerk, a joke, hateful words. But who were they for? Were they for me, or were they for you?
Saw a couple people taking notes for how to argue with their spouses. Stop it. All right, judges, are we ready? I'm seeing some tabulation. All right, thank you so much, Samantha. Corinne, is your score in? Not yet. We're waiting. We're waiting. All right, this is the hardest part of the show, is waiting for the judges. You guys are welcome to boo them. No, I'm just kidding. No. But remember, we're booing the judges, never the poet. Never the poet. All right. All right. Oh, I see frantic erasing. The last thing I want to see is frantic erasing from the judges. All right, Todd, you look ready. Can I get the score from Todd? It is a 7.9. It's a little low. A little low. Try harder, Todd. Laura, can I get your score? 7.6. All right. Elizabeth, 7.5. Tom, 6.7. That's not going to count, Todd. And 6.3. Corinne, you're out again. You're out. All right, the scores are in. Our next poet up is Megan Gigler.
Okay. Don't invite them over. You're too clingy. They'll just think you're weird. You couldn't handle having anyone over anyway. Don't accept their invitation. They don't really want to hang out with you. They only invited you because they had to. They saw how lonely you are. Don't go say hi to them. They don't really like you. They just took pity. Don't take off your jacket. It's the only barrier between you and the world, keeping them from seeing you and judging you. Why? Why don't we do any of these things? Well, if you hadn't noticed, I rule you. I influence your every decision. I know you. I'm in your head. I know that without me, you'd make a fool of yourself. You'd be even lonelier than you are now. So listen up. Oh, now, don't cry. They'll see how weak you are, how lonely and pathetic. They'll leave you. There we go. Good girl.
All right, while we're waiting for the scores, I want to bring up, there is another slam and spoken word night, the future of poetry, ? It says, at Cheney Library. That's on Wednesday, March 29th. So if you like what you see here tonight, you can head out to Cheney. I used to make that drive every day. It's beautiful. Here to Cheney. That's at 6:30 at Cheney Public Library. So Cheney Library, March 29th. That's a Wednesday night. All right, the judges look ready. And here we go. Let's start again with Laura on the far side. Laura, let's go. 7.9. Todd. Can't see that at all. 7.2? Yeah, all right. Elizabeth. 7 straight up. Tom. 6. Ooh. Corinne. 6.5. You finally had a score count. Good job. All right. Thank you so much. Our next poet is Cassie Raymond.
Perfect. Adjective. Defined as complete, faultless. In our lives, we like to say, nothing's impossible. Yet, in our day-to-day lives, We strive for something that's unattainable. We criticize and critique. Heck, it's an insult to be called unique. We're told that beauty is simplicity, but when we try to look natural, it's mediocrity. We live in a society where intelligence is a number and actual knowledge makes you dumber, where insecurities lead to anxiety, but who cares as long as I can ace a test in front of me? Sleep doesn't matter. If I have a 4.0 because I know if I were to perform any less, school would make my life a total mess. Trying to be perfect. As my friends say, they'd rather die than do the responsibilities because stress is healthy. Schools don't teach individual thought. No, we become emotionless robots who copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Individuality is no longer a morality, and using imagination is gonna cause a fatality. In this cruel system of brutality we like to call to be perfect. We are never satisfied with who we are. Looking at ourselves, we never quite reach that bar. We end up losing ourselves along the way because that perfect facade only works during the day. So when will you wake up from this crazed dream where you think you are good enough, pretty enough, good enough, smart enough, strong enough, and realize you were always perfectly good enough to me?
Lovely, thank you. So I used to teach up at Riverside, and now I teach on the South Hill. And the South Hill has some. I know. They have some hipsters, and I didn't know hipsters, but I just learned something about hipsters. In fact, do you know how much a hipster middle schooler weighs in Instagram? See what I did there? Hey, this guy gets it. All right, judges. Corinne, are you ready? 8.7. Tom, 9. Elizabeth, 8.8. Todd, 8.8. Laura, 8.7. All right. Our next poet is Kaylee Singh.
This poem is titled Across the Room. Across the room, I see you. My heart stops and I feel higher than the moon. Oh God, you saw me staring. What an idiot. I hope you're not glaring. Excuse me, but I saw you from across the room. Now you're staring at me. There's no such thing as gloom. We sit down for a date. Who asked who? Don't let the gate break. Come meet my parents. Don't worry, they're kind. Tiny whispers in the back of my mind. It's not you and I, it's us now and them. Good morning, I think I'm in love. They say it's a warning. It's been a whole year. I can't believe you're still here. And they won't let me shed a single tear. Let's move in together. Let's spend our lives together. They say it's not forever. I can see it in your eyes. Cute quirks, they annoy you, and they say love dies. You seem so distant, I swear it's not me. They're so persistent. Please don't leave. I need you. I love you. They tell me I'm naive. Why won't you talk to me? We can work this out. They said it wasn't meant to be. You've moved on and I'm still holding on. They're so loud, so many voices, it's more than a crowd. I called you, but you didn't respond. And they say it's my time to go to the beyond. I saw you across the room and it was my inevitable doom.
Nothing happier than an inevitable doom, right? Good evening. Good. All right. Our judges are tabulating. I will not make you suffer through another joke yet, but they're coming. They're coming. All right. Laura, you look done. Let's see it. 8. Todd, 8. Elizabeth, 7.9. Tom, 8.4. And Corinne, 8.2. Our next poet is Alicia Watson.
I don't have personal connections. I have movies. The thought of eye contact is terrifying. My tongue swells in grocery store checkouts. My lungs stop in crowds of 4 or more. The only comfort I am able to take in other people is through screens and imagined conversations. I have never been outgoing, but I always thought I would grow into extroversion. Movie theaters are a sort of compromise between what I fear and what I want. Late night trips to the Garland to do the time warp with people who I can dance with and I can make a fool of myself in front of, but who I can never talk to. In the theater, it's okay to never open your mouth. It's okay to avoid eye contact. Netflix and DVDs are easy. Fake people with rehearsed conversations, actors who I'll never meet. No one can judge me here. No one can lay their eyes on me. Blue light confuses your brain, it hinders rest, and I stay up too late. Sleep deprivation makes escape from my nerves in the face of my peers impossible, strengthening my need to go back to the only place where I am safe. A cycle of avoidance and fear. I want to break myself of it, I want to talk to new people, and I want to feel all right leaving the house, but when I have to leave in the morning, I find myself worrying over the smallest details. How to escape from one class and pass through the halls as quickly as possible to the next. In film, there is time to analyze every single moment. It's become instinct for me. It's how I find my way. But in life, to overthink every moment is to only feel fear and regret, to only live in your own head.
Thank you so much, Alicia. You know, I'm not a dad yet. Do I have any dads in the house? Dads in the house? Yeah. Okay, we got some dads. Does the dad sense of humor just hit you when you have a kid? Because I think I already have it. Because I have a bunch of students, and one of them says, Mr. Mack, I think I have your sense of humor. And I just say, give it back! Give it back! And that was my first and biggest bomb. All right. All right, judges, look ready. Let's start with Laura. 8.2, Todd. 8.1, Elizabeth. 8.1, Tom. 7, Corinne. Corinne? 8.5. I think that's your first high. Good job. All right. Next up, we have Amy Barber.
The title of my poem is The Media. As I scroll through Facebook, a face jumps out at me, a well-known face for everyone to see. Type amen if you love me. This picture of that precious man is shared exactly 32,762 times a day. 23,712 from this post, 9,050 from that one. As I continue through this web of lies, I hear the cries, 1 like is 3 meals. For this dying child, this little angel is in so much pain, so why can I only do this once? Even as I watch TV, dozens of trembling puppies is what I see. But for $19.99 a month, you could help save these abused and neglected animals and get a free t-shirt. Even with our homeless friends, it seems to be the new trend to think that likes and views can build shelters and provide food. As I think of how the media affects me, I begin to open my eyes and see this world is full of selfish people who only do things for selfish reasons. I can type amen to show I believe. I can like and share to show I care. And I can tell myself it's only $20. But all of these things only scratch the surface of the kind of person I want to be because I know God knows I love him. I'd rather sit with this dying child and provide them with safety and comfort than only like, scroll, share, click. And for these poor, defenseless animals, I would gladly spend a lifetime fee of only love and companionship, even without a shirt for free. What are these hypocrites trying to prove? That you can help people without having to move? It's blatantly obvious. Why can't you see? There can be locks with no keys. These humans try to behold all the stories of the untold. The media controls you and what you can be. So listen to me, you dying race. It's like you've never seen an actual face. Get off your Facebook and think of how long you took to say hello to that girl over there. Yeah, that one, who you'd rather directly message than directly talk to. Stop watching TV. Spend time with your family. Change your point of view. See the world as something new, because I know dang well it is to you.
Thank you, Amy. That's so true. I teach middle school, and the students are just married to their phones. You'd think I was beating them with the sounds you hear when I take their phone away. They sound so sad. Yeah. My kids will not be getting smartphones. All right, let's hear from our judges. Laura, 8.4. No, 8.9. Whoa, all right. Todd, 8.9. Elizabeth, 8.5. And Tom, 8.5. Corinne, 8.7. Our next poet, Bailey Williams.
Hi, this poem's called Money. I often think about money. I think about shoes and bags, coats, dresses, diamonds, pearls, and all the things a person can buy with money. I think about what $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 can buy. $5 buys a Happy Meal. $5 buys a cup of coffee. $5 buys a secret. Dirty money on this table. Dirty money slid into 2 small hands for the money-back guarantee that 2 small lips will never speak of 1 tall glass. Shoes, bags, dresses, diamonds, and voices can all be bought with money. You can purchase a little girl's silence for a low, low price, shake it, not stir it, and pour it over ice. You can buy a pinky promise and put it in your pocket, and $5 is all it takes to put a drinking problem in a box and lock it. $5 buys 2 brown eyes and their promise to tell your lies. I sold what was right for a fistful of quarters and a round of arcade games. But here's the thing. I'm not sorry. If you bought your innocence from me 25, 50, 75, 100 more times, I'd let you. I'd take your secrets to the bank and lock them away in a secret savings account until you asked for them back. I'd collect your change and put it in piggy banks so you could sit in restaurant corners drinking $5 by the bottle. Because I never knew what it was like to be your friend until then. A bribe made me love you. Hush money made you love me. $5 a Corona and store-bought oblivion brought us closer together than we ever had been. And while I'm glad we're 9 years past cheap drinks and kickbacks, I'd still do it. I'd gladly keep your secrets for a modest fee. I could build a fortune out of our conspiracy. Because it's true, I often do think about money. Coats and cars, diamonds and dresses, a sleight of hand and a shopping spree. I often think about the price of you and me. Thank you.
$5 a Corona? What are they charging you out in Deer Park? You're not 21, it's okay. All right, let's hear from Laura. 9.7. Todd, 9. Elizabeth, 9.1. Tom, 9.2, and Corinne, 8.9. Our next poet, Jordan Kennedy.
I breathe my own fumes, lying up late at night in subtle hope for a change of pace. Fumes of body odor and cigarettes, menthol and blue-collar work for no pay, nicotine and hard work in hopes for a body worthy of Time magazine, olfactory disappointment towards my own personal demons, disappointment in words written to be seen and not read, disappointment in thoughts of leaping into the history books from Golden Gate bridges, the holy litany of loneliness. Dreams of reading a poet's scripture to the stone drunks in the gray cascades of dreary dusk, night after night being heard by my true audience, who gasp at the glimmer of the microphone and the pinch of the needle in their arm, of lulling to sleep the drunks with fists sore from beating in their brains for a chance at reprieve. Nevermore, nevermore, nevermore to the days of seeing the suffering as tools for a government profit and MK Ultra experimentation. Nevermore to putting me on a watch list for speaking my mind. Nevermore to giving me amnesiac pills just for disagreeing with you. Golden dreams of heavenly messages. Dreams of flight and revolution and jazz. Dreams of countless women in my arms. Dreams to prove meaningless conquests of the obscene nothingness. LSD hallucinations of a golden Ginsbergian age of 1957. No change. Drunks still unconscious and vomit on the sandpaper sidewalks of San Francisco. Meth addicts still shivering, shuddering, screaming and shrieking at the icy touch of memories before their pipes. Opium sanitization of the mind. The forsaken Buddha, crushed under the corporate arm of the American dream. The smoke from a cigarette welded into the iron fibers of societal discourse. Hitlers, Mussolinis, Vietnams, and San Bernardinos, all eliciting salty tears from the well-farmed crop of capitalism called the common man. Communist Satans, still ruling the Eastern world from the West's point of view. Let the learned shine and write soliloquies in the starless cells of sadness you have locked us away in. Let the fools learn. Let the rich understand poverty. Let the poor be fed. Let the right men write and let the wrong men read. Let the great men cease to die and be forgotten by the generation of tweets and followers. America, I will not be put down for the sins of my father, brother, and friend. I will not be silenced by my fellow man as I would not silence my fellow men. A utopia built on steel by the legless paraplegic hive mind of smokers, immigrants, and poverty-stricken savants who spent lunch money on Marlboro Reds in middle school, who despise each other at the expense of brotherhood. Thank you.
So you guys struggled with red leather, yellow leather, and he just dropped Ginsbergian on you guys, all right? That's what I'm talking about. All right, our judges just finishing up their scores. Let's start with Laura. 8.6. Todd. 8.6. Elizabeth. 9.2. Tom, 9.8. Corinne, 8.9. All right. Our judges are getting faster. Our crowd's getting meaner. That means our next poet is Olivia Willis.
The annual Poetry Slam, the most wonderful time of the year when haikus echo down the halls and conversations take place in iambic pentameter. As I'm walking down the hallway, I hear something that strikes me harder than a linebacker's tackle, practically knocking the wind out of me. Why should we even write poetry? A chaotic tsunami of thoughts breaks tight against my skull as I continue walking. Why should you write poetry? You should write poetry when you're upset, livid, and rage, when your words seem to fly straight on the page. The words shoot out like literary bullets, hitting your victims and leaving them clueless. You grate your teeth to hold in your anger, but through a poem, it's acceptable to yell at a room full of strangers. Shout about a sexist politician always looking for loopholes, deflated balls in the Super Bowl, low payrolls, or gun control. Let your poetry be the liberation to all of your frustration. You should write poetry when you are in a state of pure bliss. because through your poem, you can share the secrets behind your happiness. The words bounce and giggle like a gleeful child, a feeling we all enjoy once in a while. Write articulate ramblings on a baby who will soon be in a carriage, your acceptance to college, or same-sex marriage. Enlighten the audience to the things that light up your life. You should write poetry when you are in love, as your tender words flow straight from your soul and gently kiss the page. Whether they are cheesy, like, "Are you a camera?" because when I look at you, I smile, or short stanzas of similes involving flowers. Your tender words illustrate a passion that you thought couldn't be put into words. You should write poetry when you are on the verge of tears, as your salt-stained lyrics drip onto the page, taking your burdens with them. The passing of a loved one, a breakup, fallen soldiers, even a bad grade can be meticulously translated into poetry. Sorrowful stanzas sweep sadness swiftly away as the page acts as a silent therapist in a weeping world. You should write poetry when you need to be heard. This is your opportunity to get on the stage and give your views a voice. You're against abortion? Yell it. You want to raise awareness to poverty and hunger around the globe? Feed it to your audience. You want to take a stand against bullying? It can start with taking a stand at the microphone. Through your poetry, you can make a change. You should write poetry when you need a shout of your passions or whisper your deepest secrets. When you're high on life or tumbling into despair. At the poetry slams, we discover the voices of so many individuals who would have otherwise gone unheard. Poetry is versatile. Poetry is beautiful and precise. Poetry is the window into a fellow poet's soul, an eyeglass to see the world from a stranger's point of view, and a portal to a dimension of literary bliss. So why should we write poetry? Let me rephrase your question. Why shouldn't we write poetry?
Thank you, Olivia. Except for one thing, Tom Brady did deflate those footballs, okay? I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me and everyone else. All right. Laura, are you ready for it? All right, 8.4. Todd, 8.4. Elizabeth, 8.3. Tom, 8. Corinne, 8.3. Our next poet is Thomas Baldwin.
This one's called Vietnam Soldiers. From dawn till dusk, they bite the dust. After 5 weeks, you can smell the musky scent that they've acquired through the rusty wired jungles. They are husky, tired, and fired up, so they march on. Landmines, hard times, mortars, and pestles starting to mash them up like potatoes. But those aren't the potatoes Grandma used to make. Those were the lives of soldiers the enemy would take. And even though they knew they would die someday, they would march on. The weight of many and the weight of one starting to force them into Atlas's shoes. The rest of the world may boo, but those folks were on their backs too. Christian or Jew, those soldiers knew they had a job to do, so they march on. They march on, souls hurt but still intact. They can get whacked, smacked, and face all the contact they are given, but they will march on. You can put them in the presence of Ho Chi Minh, step pins and needles into their skin, and even though they may feel fear within, they will march on. The things they carried were more than guns, and though the battle will never be won, they will march on. They will pray on their rosaries and think of the daisies they gave to their wife Maisie back home on that hazy Tuesday where they went crazy. And now they're still crazy, acquiring PTSD. But despite the things they've seen, they will march on. They will stand in the face of terror and laugh because they're scared, but their mind is impaired to the point where they just don't care. They've lost all they had, so there's nothing there. It's not fair. They don't have a roadmap, but they have God and Moses, so they march on. They used to wish their dreams were reality. Now they wish their reality was a dream. They used to want to fly airplanes, but now they're tying up their loose seams. They were always marching on and looking for more. God bless the boots those soldiers wore. Thank you.
couple of years ago, at the Get Lit Festival, the book was The Things They Carried, and that brought me back to The Things They Carried. So thank you so much, Thomas. If you're interested in Get Lit, which is a great program, the Get Lit Teen Slam is April 18th. Write it down, April 18th at 7 o'clock at the Kress Gallery in River Park Square. So Kress Gallery, April 18th, if you're interested in Get Lit. All right, our judges look ready. We're going to start once again with Laura with 8.7, Todd, 8.1, Elizabeth, 8, Tom, 8, Corinne, 8.2. She's hiding behind it. She knows she's wrong. All right, our next poet is Aries Mayer.
I'm not using the pedestal thing, so don't grade me down. It's there. Okay. Okay. People by Aries Mayer. Blank faces of colored slate, they trust the frightening hate. Stone-hard faces with the same name, it hurts to feel this gruesome shame. But of hopes to give something true, give them a call, see what they do. They'd want to lift ignorant shades, see them realize in a few days. They were once children of earth, as tiny seeds planted from birth, growing like trees up above so high, careless freedom up in the sky. Clear crystal waters, going gray. They trust the sludge in one sad day. Skies once blue, now caught in the cage. It hurts to see the beast on the page. But to know how someone used to breathe, to their now screeching coming from their teeth, but to know how someone had bright, warm eyes, to their now black, beady coals full of lies. People complaining about their problems, saying that they never had it all, gotta lose it all for it. People get it mixed up all the time, thinking of making up their minds. Why don't they listen to me? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aries. One more poetry event coming up is 6 poems that can save your life at the North Spokane Library. That's Wednesday, April 5th. Poems that can save your life. Write it down, everybody. April 5th, that starts at 6:30 at the North Spokane Library. All right. Laura, you always seem on the spot with 8.6. Todd, 8.2. She said don't grade her down, Todd. You heard her. Elizabeth, 8.5. Tom, 8.8. And Corinne, 8.9. All right. Our next poet, please welcome to the stage, Emma Koski.
Hello, welcome to the Common Application. The process is simple. Just answer these following questions accurately and truthfully. Okay, sounds simple enough. Let's do this. Question 1, gender, female. Question 2, age, 18. Let's see. Question 4, what is your home address? And enter. Question 5, what is your mailing address? Done. Question 6, what is your permanent address? Wait, isn't that the same as question 7? Which address should mail concerning your application be sent? But I just told you. Question 8, at which address do you live? Wait, what? Question 9, what is your mother's occupation? Enter. Question 10, what is your father's social security number? Well, I don't know. Question 11. Do either of your parents qualify for the EG 705RR3 tax form? Do either of my parents even know what that? Question 12. What is your mother's favorite movie? What? Question 13. When did your father graduate preschool? Question 14. Who won the Olympic gold medal in kayaking the year your mother was born? Whoa. Question 15. What is your father's home address? Ugh. Now, please enter your SAT, ACT, SBAC, ELA, AP, IV, OMG, LMAO, and third grade WASL test scores. We'll also need to know every class you've ever taken and the grade you received in them by quarter and all of your teachers' eye colors. Yes, you will be sending in your transcripts anyways, but hey, writing it all out builds character. Next, please create a detailed resume of any and every academic, athletic, artistic, and altruistic activity you have ever participated in, and how much time you spent doing it. Oh, you don't know exactly how many hours you've practiced piano since 4th grade? Guess you should have been keeping track, huh? Essay portion. Oh, good, I love writing. Prompt number 1, tell us about a time you failed. How did it make you feel besides like trash? What did you learn besides that you suck at everything? Okay, maybe not that one. Prompt number 2, write about a community service you have performed. Oh, and by the way, unless it was rescuing blind orphans from war zones, don't even waste your time. Well, that one's out. Prompt number 3, why do you want to go to college? I'll just come back to this part. Final question. Oh, thank God. Have you ever been convicted of a sex crime? Note, your answer will not affect your admissions decision. Wait, what won't affect? Is this how Brock Turner got into Stanford? Hey, you're almost done. Just pay the $200 application fee and you'll be able to apply to all the schools your little heart desires. Well, I guess it's all worth it if this is the last hoop I have to jump through to get into college. Between paying thousands of dollars a year, moving away from everyone I love, and filling out this nightmare, can you imagine if... Wait, is that an asterisk? Note. Actually, this application will probably only be accepted by 1 or 2 of the colleges you apply to, and even then you'll have to answer a bunch of additional questions and pay another fee, because you can't expect schools to let you apply for free when their only funding comes from tuition, book sales, room and board, meal plans, and parking fees. Oh, and have fun with the dozen additional essays you'll have to write. But thanks anyway for paying, applying, and good luck.
You are so ready for college, Emma. So ready. 4 more years of that. And then you buy a house and it's the same questions over and over again. All right, judges. Laura, let's start with you. 9.3. Todd. 9.1. Elizabeth. 9. Tom. 8.1. Corinne. 9.0. You know, Elizabeth, I'm not giving you a hard time, but you're sneaky harsh. Sneaky harsh in there, you know. Kind of rough scores. I'm watching you. All right. Our next poet is actually poets. It's plural. We have 2 performing at the same time. Please welcome to the stage Tyra Oshevsky and Emerson Slenga.
This poem's called Mirror. I wish the person in the mirror had bright blue eyes instead of the current dull brown.
I wish the person in the mirror had warm brown eyes instead of the current icy blue.
I wish when you looked a little lower, the person in the mirror had a small button nose instead of the current crooked one that broke in a fight.
I wish the person in the mirror had a long, slender nose instead of the current small one.
I wish, when you looked a little lower than that, the person in the mirror had full pink lips instead of the current chapped red ones.
I wish the person in the mirror had thin red lips instead of the current pouty pink ones.
I wish the person in the mirror had sharp cheekbones instead of the current round big ones.
I wish the person in the mirror had big round cheekbones instead of the current razor sharp.
I can wish, but I have to accept that that person in the mirror is me, and she's beautiful just the way she is.
Thank you, Tyra and Emerson. All right. So did you guys know that Abraham Lincoln was actually accused of many crimes in his life? But every time he said, I'm innocent. Innocent. Nailed it. All right. Laura, are you ready to save me from that terrible joke? 7.9. Todd. 8.1. Elizabeth. 7.9. Tom. 7.3. Corinne. 7.5. Tom, none of your scores count. Why'd you even come? I mean, really. None of them. All right. Our penultimate poet, which I only recently learned means second to last. That was an embarrassing moment. Our penultimate poet is Tristan Montgomery.
I'm a rapper. I lay down dope beats that makes you taps your feet. What more do I gotta say? I'm a mixture of Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, because today was a good day and it ain't nothing but a G thing. When I'm rolling in the 6'4 Impala, all the homies holler cause I'm the biggest baller. I wear my cap sideways cause I'm a G, and I know y'all can see the gold teeth. My bank account is full of figures, and when I withdraw, everyone else is triggered. When my song plays in the club, everyone starts hollering, and the paper starts falling in. I'm raking in money like leaves in the fall. I wish I could have balled with Biggie Smalls, and one of my best homies is Thomas Rawls. And in case y'all don't remember, I'm the one who paid off the judges. From Dancing with the Stars. I gave each judge a new fancy car. Y'all know Riverside, that's where I reside. This rap game is mine, so I'ma dine on your simple-minded rhymes. Because my pants, they sag. My sweatshirt, practically a bag. You can ask Siri, even she says I'm the man. My necklace says I'm rad. I would have participated in the G-Olympics, but I'm already banned. I'm more abominable than the snowman. I spend more money than anyone else can. I'll throw enough bands to fill a trash can. Me and my homie Dan, we roll around on our Benz, and you know I'm friends with all the reverends. In school, I was the class clown with the crown, and every day at lunch I'd be chilling in the teacher's lounge. Because that was back when G meant genius and not gangster. And most of us had no idea what a banker was, and we used to call everyone else cuz. But wait, I got a confession to make, and then I'll be gone. Maybe I'm not quite as gangster as I've let on. Never owned a fancy car. Never been on Dancing with the Stars. I didn't even have $100 to my name. And I have zero fame. And no, I don't roll around with the crew. But what I said about the teacher's lounge is true. I've never written a song to make the top 10. And no, before you ask, I don't own a Benz. But honestly, this confession doesn't matter. I'm still getting paid. This is based off of me in the 4th grade. Because all my homies, they still gonna rally. And I'm still gonna fall out in Cali. And you know, I still got a major future in singing. So you know, I gotta keep the heads ringing.
Tristan, word. That's right, I know how to talk to kids. All right, let's hear from Laura. 8.3. Todd, 8.1. Elizabeth, 8.5. Tom, 8.2. Corinne, 8.9. Our final poet, before we have a brief intermission, is going to be Noah Sessler.
Delicate bird song narrates the daily showing of my morning through the window, a dull pain in the head lamented by the fickle-hearted spectators on the sill. A rush of sounds with dim sunlight through the living room blinds shines upon the churning machine of morning routine. Wake, walk, dress, brush, comb, walk. The infinite race around the clock briefly made transparent through my daydreams of doing anything else. An inspiration duller than the light through the hazy bus window. A blank gaze across snow-swept flats, cut short by the serrated, biting sound of pressure and the swinging of metallic doors. Ticks on the clock, like the rattling of rusted chains and breaking bars both. The hours individual receptacles of the entropy of my mind, labeled, organized, and approved for in the name of progress. Stagnancy fills the air of every overcrowded room, of what seems 1,000 others running that same race. Their footsteps in pace to the ticking of the clock. The stagnancy too matte and gray to reflect so much of a facsimile of the nothing of which it is catalyst. The same sharp pressure pierces the air, albeit a little softer this time, like the sheets of the bed in escape for a while. For what brilliance, what heroic feat of great effort, what strength does any of it have in comparison to the ticking of the clock?
So here's what's next. We are going to receive the scores from Noah's poems. We are going to take a short 7-minute intermission, and then we are going to have the results for you right after the intermission, correct? Let's get our scores from our judges. Laura, 8.8. Todd, 8.1. Elizabeth, 8. Tom, 7.5, and Corinne, 8. All right, during this intermission, Tom is going to remove the stick from his absolutely harsh judging, and we are going to take a quick break. We will be back in approximately 7 minutes with your scores. Tom, I hope you're feeling better. He was grumpy in the first half, but he's smiling now, so I'm hoping everything's better. All right, our contestants moving on to round 2 are Cassie Raymond, Amy Barber, Bailey Williams, Jordan Kennedy, Olivia Willis, Aries Mayer, Emma Koski, and Tristan Montgomery. I know if you count well... If you count well, you'll realize that was 8. We did have a tie, which meant both will move on. So, we will go in reverse order. Same scoring system. Again, a big thank you to Bill Moore and the Friends of Deer Park for hosting this event. Our first poem of the second half will be Tristan Montgomery.
I've seen all kinds of people. Short people, tall people, let's build a wall people. I've seen that in life there are people who are self-centered, kind of like books. Look at my cover and choose me. Just me. Just me, just me, just me. So I've seen that in life. I don't need people, but maybe it's people who need me. People in trouble and going through tough times. People who may need help spitting rhymes. People committing crimes, robbing people on the streets for nickels and dimes. Back to the point, these people need someone to help get them back on their feet and bring them back to the great things they used to be. So why don't we give them some charity? I mean, there's no need to really be greedy. Let's help the needy. So you know what? I'ma just lay it. Hope y'all hear what I'm saying. Forget cheddar chasing. Forget roof raising. Forget sitting on the porch feeding yourself raisins. I'ma do whatever I can to make your life better. If you're cold, I'll be there giving you that sweater. 'Cause I wanna be there when you become free. And I wanna be there when maybe you become stronger than me. I want to give you high fives when you drop dimes and be up in the studio with you, laying rhymes. And you know I'll still be with you through the tough times, dropping punchlines to make you smile, and all the while, see you fulfill the person you want to be. And in case you don't know yet, here's what I mean. So what is charity? It's me taking away your disparity. It's us making those rarities in your life not so rare to see. I want to see you do the best you can do. I don't want you to have all the same freedoms that I do. So why don't we all just make everything I just said come true?
Word. All right, I'd like to invite you to another poetry event, the first Monday of every month, right here in Deer Park at Lofty Skies Brewed Streams. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook. There's a contestant entry fee, so that means there will be a cash prize at that poetry slam as well. So contestants, if you're interested, go win yourself another one. Again, that's the first Monday of every month at Lofty Skies. There's also live music every Friday at 5 o'clock. All right, let's hear from our judges. Laura, 8, dead on the nose, right? All right, 8. Thank you. It's way too low. Todd, 8.4. Elizabeth, 8.2. Tom, 7.6. And Corinne, 9. All right. Our next contestant is Emma Koski. Welcome back.
Action shot of the hero. Ruggedly handsome, humanity's only hope. His sword flashing as he dodges talons and teeth, and for 1/10th of a second it looks like defeat, but with the final slash of his blade, the beast falls dead to the dirt. The hero's eyes search for his companions and finds them unscathed. So they continue their quest, and under his vest, our hero feels a crimson corsage blooming across his chest, but he laughs and jokes with the rest, because this quest must go on. Veronica, blonde and into yoga and juice cleanses, sits across from her best friend Rachel, not like other girls, in their favorite cafe. So, like the other day, my therapist told me I can't move on until I get rid of all the bad energy Brad left in my apartment. So I lit some incense and meditated for like 2 hours. Oh my God, it was so cleansing. Rachel smiles and nods, and we laugh because, unbeknownst to Veronica, Rachel just took gold in the breakup Olympics, and you don't see her running to a shrink. Depressed, substance-addicted anti-hero, played by Nick Cage probably, lets his well-meaning sister talk him into group therapy. He endures life story after blubbering, tear-soaked life story, and when it is his turn, he quips a snarky one-liner about wasted time, gets up, and leaves. Later, all his problems disappear after sleeping with a woman he doesn't deserve, because that's what real men call therapy. Let's revisit our hero. By now, he is almost too weak to stand, but still he presses onward. One of his companions teases him about lagging behind, but when he looks back, his laughter dies as he watches his friend turn pale as ice, and before he can react, the hero goes down. Cut! Let's just stop there. You know he'll be all right. Because heroes never complain, and they always wait until it's nearly too late, yet everything always turns out right. But what happens when you play the hero in real life? She steps out onto the ledge. Her life is a fuse, and this is the edge of detonation. Every morning feels like a funeral for the little more of her smile she slept away. But she spreads her arms and closes her eyes because heroes don't cry, they fly. Heroes never complain, and sometimes they wait until it's too late. And after it's too late, the question is always, why didn't they say something? But the ones who say something are the ones we cast as the sad sacks, the drama queens, the train wrecks, the ones who are too weak to soldier through on their own. But sometimes it's yourself you have to save, and if taking off your armor in a world full of swords is not brave, then I don't want to be a hero.
Thank you, Emma. Judges, I want to switch it up. I'm going to start with Corinne. 9.1. Tom, 8.7. Elizabeth, 8.5. Todd, 8.8. And Laura, 9.4. Please welcome back to the stage, Aries Mayer.
I Am by Aries Mayer. I am filled, yet empty. I wonder where I'll go. I hear the shouts of bright notes fly. I see the colorful swirls dipped and dyed. I want to find my purpose here. I am filled, yet empty. I pretend I'm nothing more than me. I feel the crowded space. I touch a skin so soft and spared, I worry too much to care. I cry of solemn baby sobs. I am filled, yet empty. I understand because I have love. I say less because I mean more. I dream of colors that don't exist. I try in dedication of resist. I hope the world knows I'm right here. I am filled, yet empty.
All right, but it's good because Corinne looks ready. I'm gonna start with you. No, she's still thinking. Laura's ready. Let's start back where we started. 8.7 from Laura. Todd, 8.2. Elizabeth, 8.1. Tom, 8.3. Corinne, 9. All right. Next up, we have Olivia Willis.
How to find yourself in 5 easy steps. Step 1. You must first acknowledge that you are lost. Symptoms of this may include general confusion, depression, loss of meaning in everyday tasks, and prolonged wandering. While it is true that not all who wander are lost, almost all who are lost wander. If you find yourself searching for something that you can't quite put a name to, it is most likely yourself you are searching for. If any of this has applied to you, then you, my friend, are lost. Step number 2. Take off all of your makeup. Not just your societal makeup, or not just your actual makeup, but also your societal makeup. You need to look at yourself without considering your job, clothes, friends. All of this needs to be packed into a box and put in the attic. This one will be tough, as society has caked you with the makeup from a clown's palette and called it natural. You've been stereotyped and weighed, logged and put on display, and branded with a barcode with the pseudonym Social Security number, making you think that it's okay. But once all of this is gone, you are naked. Well, philosophically, but I mean, if you feel more free in a birthday suit, that's your decision. Step 3, lay out your values, not the ones that society has hypnotized in your subconscious. We need to look deeper. The ones we want can be found in the foundations to the home that you've built around your soul. Your views on politics, sex, religion, and the universe may all be ingredients in this cement. Society will sometimes try to renovate this home and shape it to better fit the world, but you need to tear down these renovations until there is nowhere left to tear. Once you've found these core beliefs, lay them out across the table and analyze each one. Step number 4. Once you've been reminded of why and what you believe, return your values back to their vault in your soul and take the box down from the attic. We will now begin putting pieces of your life back into the puzzle. However, as you go, you will need to make changes based on your rediscovered truths. With these changes, the pieces may not fit quite right. In that case, you may need to move some pieces around and change up your life. You may occasionally find a piece that doesn't even match the puzzle anymore. In that case, it is time to remove this piece from your life. Once you have your puzzle reassembled, you're ready for the final step. Step number 5. You should have now found yourself. Hopefully the new you is 100% organic, non-GMO or SMO, societally modified organism, you. You are no longer a collage of the stolen pieces of those you have crossed paths with. Warning, as you go back to normal life, things may feel different. You may have urges to do things that you would have never imagined before, and certain tasks may seem frivolous. I suggest you follow your heart and soul as you continue along your journey, because otherwise you may find yourself lost.
Tom, she's kidding about the naked thing. Leave your clothes on. All of them. Thank you. No! All right. All right. Laura, what do you got? 8.8. Todd, 9. Elizabeth, 8.7. Tom, 8.2. Corinne, 9.1. Tom gets grumpy while he's wearing clothes. All right, our next poet is Jordan Kennedy.
I was raised on nicotine, daydreams, and loneliness. Sitting up for hours in the smoke, my lungs clawing through the air for oxygen. As my father slept and my mother worked, I would watch the television, becoming a slave to the consistent, persistent marketing of corporate America. The subtlety of the brainwash grew bold when I walked outside. This can't be the world, I thought. A world of grime and dust, of dirt and lust, ignored by all who have the choice never granted unto me. Have you ever seen the blood drip from your lover's sliced wrist? Have you ever watched your brother shoot up just to fall down into the ashes of his own aspirations? Have you seen heaven fall? Maybe you have too. The look of disappointment in people's eyes as you walk by, cursed to live a life of longitude and litany, lacking love and anonymity. Do you right to exercise your right, or do you right to exercise your demons? I have loved and lost, lived and died, and my fair share of times have I looked up and cried to the sky, why, God, why? But never have I left the dampened ground without contentment, a long walk down a rutted road, each ridge an obstacle, only to step up and conquer it, seeking true liberty. A life where my thoughts aren't dictated by a Big Brother's ad campaign on a television screen that could never display the beautiful anarchy of the human mind, could never capture the exquisite existential detail of the naked eye, glancing across the form of a figure I have never loved more than the thought of being alone. But still, I crave it. Glancing over the skyline of a city filled with the unlawful addiction to flipping Big Brother the bird under the watchful eye of a million street corner cameras, peering into the soul of every empty hive. But still, I need it. The rawness, the humanity, the harshness of a cold world's reality. I will have it. A single flame that I hold in my heart, but remember, it only takes a spark.
All right, judges, that's enough of that. Enough of that nonsense. Let's start with Corinne this time. 9.2. Tom, 9.2. Elizabeth, 9.1. Todd, 9.2. Laura, 8.9. All right, next up, it's Bailey Williams.
I know. This poem's called Unfair. I'm sitting in this room, a white room, old and musty and curling at the edges, butterfly stickers on white walls, and a deathbed. This coffin for the living, this place we've stuck Darlene. And it's unfair. Unfair that I had to be left alone with this dying woman, this stranger that I was supposed to love. Unfair that Darlene lived her whole life pressed under someone's fist. Unfair that 75 years of one woman's life could be painted in such violent shades of abuse and illness. And it's unfair that she became what she hated. She became her oppressor. Darlene twisted arms and hearts and words, and she sewed dresses lined with lies and tricks, and she was awful. She made hell out of childhoods and wars out of families. Unfair that an illness could change a woman into a serpent. And God, it was so unfair that I was expected to hold her hand. Frail, skeletal, gray skin stapled loosely over this tiny, awful hand. And I stared at this woman, this thing that I was supposed to love, but just could not bring myself to. A raspy breath, the tick of a clock, and that hand so unfair that I could not bring myself to hold the hand of a dying woman, unfair that those blue, frozen eyes saw me. She saw me leave her. She watched me choose to leave her. And Darlene, like everybody before her, died knowing acutely well that life is unfair. And how unfair was it that as we put this jar of dust that was Darlene into the ground, I could not find one happy memory? And how unfair was it that a funeral became a wedding in less than a year? But this perhaps is fair, that I have hated myself since I left you in that room. Oh, how sweet it is that I wallow in self-loathing. Regret does not express the level of shame I feel, and every day I am sorry, Darlene, that I did not have the love in me to hold you. I wish I could remember how you taught me to roller skate, or maybe how you held me when I had nightmares. But all I remember is sickness, and all I know is that I left you for dead. And now every minute of every day, I lie in absolute despair, and this, I think, is only fair. Thank you.
I want to once again thank the Friends of Deer Park Library, and they have done all their fundraising to put this event on through book sales. So if you would stop by Deer Park Auto Freight the first weekend of June, July, August, and September, you can buy and donate books there at Deer Park Auto Freight. Again, that is how all of this was made possible. So if you like books like me, if you like literature, please stop by Deer Park Auto Freight, June, July, August, and September. That's the first weekend of that month. And again, a huge thank you to the Friends of Deer Park Library. All right, our judges are ready. Let's start with Laura so she doesn't get mad this time. Laura? 9.5. It worked. Todd, 9. Elizabeth, 9.2. Tom, 9.7. Corinne, 9.4. Next up, it's Amy Barber.
The title of my poem is Fat. Fat. It's not a derogatory word, it's more of a descriptive term. A term used to say, I diet, I exercise, I tell my body, please, no more lies. But in reality, I've cried, I've tried, and I've failed. It's hard, though, to resist the cupcakes and the fries. Everyone goes through this stage of their life where nothing feels right, and your parents say, your body is just changing. But that's not it. Fat is used to accessorize, to characterize, to accompany your facade, to describe when you see yourself in the mirror and you are not pleased, when you can't wear the clothing you want because of the taunts, and when you have to wear the baggy clothing to make yourself feel and look acceptable. The verbal assaults thrown down the sidewalk make us feel worthless, and to think those remarks, those comments, they come from a companion, a so-called friend, the ones who want to be with us until the very end. Society tells us we are fat, and we believe them. I am fat. I know this. You can't possibly change my mind, because in the world where people don't care about your size, they care about what's inside, not about your stomach, but the way the light sparkles off your eyes. Your thighs don't matter in your partner's mind, and your true love won't care about your clothing proportions or the distortions of your beautiful body so sure. Thick thighs save lives, and only dogs go for bones. But that doesn't matter, because I am fat, and that makes me feel beautiful, because I know that appearance on the body is simply an illusion, and the word pretty sends you into confusion. The illusions that society plants like saplings in your cerebrum make the words that roll off your tongue merely imaginable.
All right, Laura, let's see it. 9.3. Todd, 9.2. Elizabeth, 9.2. Tom, 9.3. Corinne, 9.3. And finally, welcome our last poet to the stage. It's Cassie Raymond.
Villain, a label we place on someone who's made a few mistakes. But we all agree that masterminds and geniuses give brilliant plans and terrific speeches. And don't forget about the maniacal laugh. And sure, heroes get the fame and glory, but I think it's time to shine some light on the villain of the story. See, villains get remembered while heroes get replaced. You ain't ever seen a classic villain get outraced. But then again, villains get remembered for their mistakes, as all it takes is a new perspective to become a major disgrace. People such as William Harvey, Gregory Mendel, Galileo Galilei, even Albert Einstein was a villain in his time because he thought differently. But hey, if you're a criminal, you can just go terrorize the city because no one's gonna give you any pity. Villains like evil queens get to have all the fun, from sleeping kingdoms to the undead enslaved. But then again, those evil queens were the princesses never saved. And villains like masterminds and geniuses get to mess with heroes' brains and weaknesses. But then again, those masterminds and geniuses never got to feel the feeling of acceptance. I think people tend to forget that villains scream just as loud as heroes do, but theirs are never heard, so maybe if we didn't characterize and criticize, they wouldn't terrorize because monsters aren't born, they're made. These broken people take the brunt of human mistakes because it's easier to point fingers when it's not your heart that breaks, so I hope someday people will understand that there's no black and white to a villain, and there's no black and white to a hero. But there will always be good and evil.
Thank you so much, Cassie. Our judges are locked in. I think their scoring comes in faster than ever. Let's start. Let's start in the middle. Let's change this thing up. Let's start with Elizabeth. 8.9. Ooh, Tom, can you do better? 8.7. Todd, 9.1. Corinne, 9.1. And finally, Laura, 9.2. If we could have a final round of applause for all of our poets. Poets, stand up. Stand up, poets. Poets, on your feet. Thank you so much for all of your words this evening. Very inspiring. A round of applause for our judges. Thank you so much, judges. Even you, Tom. Even you. All right, here's what happens next. Our panel here will calculate our scores as quickly as they can. The next person you will see is Bill Moore, the president of Friends of Deer Park Library, is going to join me on stage to hand out the prizes for our 3 winning poets. Looks like the results are in, and here they come. Amber rounds the corner. She's coming down. She's at the 30, the 20, the 10. All right. I told them to be very careful after the Miss America thing and the Oscar thing. I said, you hand me the right envelope, okay? So Amber, no mistakes, right? All right, all right. All right. The first person to join us on stage for 3rd place, Amy Barber. Come on up. Come on up. Congratulations, Amy. In 2nd place, Jordan Kennedy. And in 1st place, La La Land. What? No. Anybody who watched the Oscars got that joke. 1st place, Bailey Williams. Right, come get your prizes, contestants. Bill, thank you so much, and the Friends of Deer Park Library. Thanks again to all of our judges, our wonderful host. Thank you guys for putting up with me. A round of applause for being a wonderful audience. One more round of applause for our poets. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.